What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Sorry I didn't put this one out last night. We got another game, we got another night of playoff basketball in the books. And last night we saw the Indiana Pacers force a game 7 on the New York Knicks. I was pretty excited about it, I'm not gonna lie, because I go to Butler, so I like the Pacers. I also don't mind the Knicks as well, even though they beat the Sixers and their fans were quite annoying, but that's what they do. They're passionate. But shout out to the Pacers, man, for forcing a game 7. This game is gonna be awesome. Another MSG game 7. It's been a minute since the Knicks have been in game 7. I think it's been since like 1995 or something like that. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Um, yeah. Before I start before I start with going over like the players of the game, let's see when the last time each of these teams were in a game 7. Knicks were in a game 7. I think yeah, it's been a minute. Um, when was the last time the Knicks were in a game 7? This doesn't help me at all. Shout out Sat Moose though. They usually come in clutch, but they're not coming in clutch right now. Let's see. Why don't we just do a nice little Google search? When was the last time the Knicks were in a game 7? I believe it was 95. Um, this 19 the last time they were in the finals was 1999. But yeah, it's been a minute for both of these teams, I believe, especially in New York. So I mean, none of the players on each of these teams really has game 7 experience outside of Pascal Siakam, that is, for the Pacers. Yeah, let's talk about the Knicks. Hartenstein had a very rough game. I would say a lot of the Knicks players really had a rough game. I mean, you couldn't really find someone who actually had a good, outstanding game. I know Brunson got 31, but this dude was awful in the first half. I mean, he was like 2 for 13 or something in the first half. So shout out Brunson for making the adjustments and coming back, but it was all just stat padding at the end because the Pacers were just super far in front by the time he actually got it going, and there was nothing he could really do. And even when he had it going, they even scored with the Pacers in the fourth quarter. So I mean, the Pacers were just in their bag last night. Deuce McBride was actually decent though. Another good game since he's moved to the starting lineup, but wasn't nearly enough for the Knicks to get it done. I would say outside of Brunson like really struggling in the first half, the main reason that the Knicks lost this game is because of Josh Hart. He's been playing some big minutes in this postseason, I think more than anyone else in the NBA, and it's starting to catch up with him. He had the chest injury or whatever it was. He was actually telling Tibbs that he needed to sub out of the game, and you never see Josh Hart telling Tibbs that he needs to sub out. So I mean, shout out Josh Hart for trying to play through injury. Like the dude's an absolute warrior. You can tell that he wants to win, but his body just wasn't allowing him to do that. Then we move on to Dante DiVincenzo. Um, he was solid in this game. I mean, didn't really have it going on early, found his shot down the stretch. But yeah, the Knicks, they were hurt. Josh Hart was hurt. Jalen Brunson didn't have it going on in this first half. And Deuce McBride wasn't nearly enough to get it done for them tonight, considering the Pacers showed up big time tonight. Precious Achiuwa was also not bad, but the Knicks were much less active on the boards than they've been in games past. They actually got out rebounded by the Pacers in this game. So moving on, we have for the Pacers, the big player in this game was Pascal Siakam. He stepped up big time. His mid-range was falling. He was in his bag. Yeah, Pascal Siakam was in his bag big time. Um, he was locked in tonight. I mean, this dude, he was one of the best players in the playoffs in round 1, and he's starting to look like one of the best playoff performers in round 2. He had some rough games early, but now he's showing up big time in game 6. So shout out to Siakam. Not my favorite player, but he was in his bag. Aaron Nesmith, quiet game, but plus 20 as well with Pascal Siakam. Yeah, Aaron Nesmith was a dog tonight. I know he didn't score a lot, but he was a dog. Miles Turner, also solid. I mean, everyone on the Pacers was just solid. I would say Pascal was the only like outstanding performer because he had it. He set the tone like the whole game. He was knocking down mid range like it was nothing. He was getting fouled at the beginning and they weren't calling it. So I thought it was going to be a 5-on-8 because the Knicks had all of the refs on their side at one point, but the Pacers said "fuck you" and locked in and took over. Halliburton was good dishing the rock, but you would like to see more aggressiveness out of Tyrese Halliburton because I think this team is at its best when Tyrese Halliburton is aggressive. Um, if they want to win game seven, Tyrese Halliburton's going to have to be more aggressive, in my opinion. But yeah, solid game from Halliburton. I feel like if he took this game over, it could have looked more like game four. I'm going to be honest. So yeah, let's move on to the bench. Obi Toppin, solid game. They were chanting his name at one point in Gamebridge, only a -2, so he did a solid job. While some of the starters were out, he was in his bag. Shot 5 for 6, 1 for 2 from three, very efficient, which you like to see out of a guy like Obi Toppin. Then out of all the notable guys who played, Isaiah Jackson, he came in the fourth and really held down the fort, I feel like. And then TJ McConnell's just a dog, man. He is the GOAT. I mean, it's between Josh Hart and TJ McConnell, who's the biggest dog in this series. And I mean, TJ McConnell prevailed tonight, although he plays significantly less minutes than Josh Hart. The amount of dog he has in the time that he's in is just insane. I mean, shout out to TJ McConnell. JJ Redick was glazing him up on the ESPN broadcast, as he should, because they were former teammates in Philly. And yeah, TJ McConnell's just an absolute stud, man. Like, Sixers miss this guy every single day. Ben Shepherd, he's solid. I mean, +4. I mean, he was just kind of out there. I mean, it was mainly Neesmith who was guarding Brunson, who I actually think did a fantastic job, especially in that first half, holding him to like 2 for 13 or 2 for 15. Like it was a really bad stat line for Brunson, whatever it was. But yeah, shout out to the Pacers, man. I thought they were going to lose this game, and they balled out and they won. So now they're on to a game seven. And if I had to make my prediction, I hate saying this because I want the Pacers to win, but I think the Knicks are going to come back, and I think the Knicks are going to win game seven. Jalen Brunson is just too talented. I think Josh Hart's going to be feeling better. Yeah. Um, I think the Knicks will have more energy in game seven in MSG in front of their home crowd than they did tonight. Um, we've seen kind of this pattern with the Knicks where it's like going like recently, they'll have a game starting with like game three, they'll have a lot of energy. Then the next game, they'll fall flat on their face. Then they'll get energy again. Then they'll fall flat on their face, and the starters will like rest some minutes. And Josh Hart is the main one that needed rest, and he got it. Not because he wanted it tonight, but he got rest just because he's hurting. But if Hart doesn't play in game seven, I think the Knicks are fucked. But I think he'll play a full 48 minutes. I think Josh Hart's gonna be back, and I think he's gonna play through whatever's been bothering him. But if the Pacers want to win this game seven, Halliburton needs to be aggressive from the opening tip. I mean, like, yeah, they play so much better when he's aggressive and not like overly pass happy. So yeah, but I still pick the Knicks to win this game seven. I would love to see the Pacers go into MSG and beat them. Um, the Pacers are fantastic at home. They haven't won. I think they've only won one game in the playoffs on the road, if I'm correct, because they got blown out they won game two against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Then they won games 3 and 4 at home, if I remember correctly. They lost game 5 in Milwaukee and then won. Yeah, they've only won one game on the road. So I mean, and then the Knicks have won 2 games on the road. Because I mean, the Pacers are insane at home. But yeah, they won 2 games on the road. So I'm gonna say the Knicks win it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Pacers upset them, especially if Halliburton is on and Josh Hart is out. That's all for me. I'm excited for this game seven. I'm excited for the game against for the game OKC and Dallas tonight, I think that should be a good game. And that Wolves Nuggets game 7 is also going to be awesome. So Sunday's going to be a good video. All right. Peace, y'all. I'm just a yapper who don't know ball.